And back with another video. Welcome to another edition of Stop the Cap. I'm your host Ahmad, and we got some things that we need to talk about, people. There's some things that we need to talk about, and I don't even know where to begin. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know where to begin, but we need to talk about some things. In this episode of Stop the Capping, I want to talk about the tariff. If you watch this video, if you happen to come across this video, I want your opinion in the comment section of what you think about the tariff that is now being placed. But right now it's in a monetary hold right now. But I want your opinion about, is it a tad bit too late? I understand what he was trying to do or what he wanted to do, but how are you going to implement a tariff on products and services when you no longer have the infrastructure here in the United States to produce the mad products that we used to do? And some people are misconstruing what he says by making America great. What he means by make America great, he means, and this is just my opinion of what he means, because I haven't sat down and talked with Trump, nor have I talked with his cabinet, nor have I talked with anyone surrounding him of what he means by make America great. So this is only my opinion of what I think he means by make America great. Once upon a time, the United States was the production leader in products and goods. Let me repeat myself. Once upon a time in American history, we were the leaders, we were the world leaders in producing products and goods. We were number one in the world. Manufacturing, steel, we were number one in the world. That is what made us great, because we had the infrastructure in place to produce quality products and services, quality products and goods. We had the infrastructure in place to produce these things with high quality, better quantity, and just all around, we were just good at it. And then we started electing these officials, governors, presidents, who start finding ways of sending our goods and products to foreign countries. Because for some reason they didn't want to pay the workers their due process. In other words, they wanted cheap labor. They wanted cheap labors, long hours, but these workers that were producing all these products and services wasn't making enough living and earnings to take care of their families. How can you work 16, 17 hours on a job and then turn around and still don't have enough income coming in to support yourself and your family that you got to go out and get another job? How does that work? It doesn't. It does not work. You can't work 12-hour shift and then turn around and try to go get another job. You're not going to last long. So, instead of the United States controlling the housing and apartment fees, they didn't. They let greed set in, and this is the result of greed here in the United States. This is why we have greed. This is the consequences and repercussions of being greedy here in the United States. This is the consequences and repercussions of not controlling things. We put a cap on how much you make, but we don't put a cap on how much you charge. Does that make sense? We put a cap on how much you can earn, but we don't put a cap on how much you can sell. We don't put a cap on how much you can sell goods and services. We don't put a cap on how much you can charge for rent. But we put a cap on salary. Make that make sense. So the people who selling the products, goods, and services, they're making money. The people who control the housing, they're making money. The people who control the rent, they're making money. But the people who doing the work, they barely making ends meet. So make it make sense. So you take all those jobs that provided us income because we was the producers of the products and the goods. We were the leaders in that. We were the nation that was number one in products, goods, and services. Now, we're no longer that. We are the number one nation in the world as far as consumers. As far as spending, we are number one in spending. And why? Because of greed in this country. It's because of greed and piss poor leadership, piss poor decision making. Not only those in the Congress, in the Senate, governors, all these different presidents that we had in office, all the shipping products and services to other foreign countries to produce our steel, to produce this, to manufacture this, to manufacture that. Now, moving fast forward, we realize all we're doing is spending. All we're doing is spending. So all these people who are getting college education, they're not creating anything. They're going into financing. They're going into hospital, maybe doctors, some lawyers. But they're not building anything. They're not creating anything. But they're gobbling up all the income. They're not producing a darn thing. But we're producing college. We're producing college graduates year by year, but they're not producing anything that we can sell to other countries. We're no longer the number one producers of products and goods. We're now the number one in consumer. Spend, spend, spend. Greed, greed, greed. So the housing market is out of control. The rental property is out of control. But the salary has not caught up. And when it does catch up, so now our food is becoming high. So now everything across the board has become high. Health, insurance, all these various things have become out of control. Everything has gotten out of control. Capitalism has hurt the United States because it has produced, in my opinion, greed. In my humble opinion, capitalism has produced greed and selfishness. And our government has failed us. What they should be controlling, what they should be putting a cap on, what they should be stopping, they're not stopping. What they should be saying, hey, hold on here, enough is enough. Let's freeze this, let's stop this. They're not. And that is what's hurting the country. That is why we have so many homelessness here in the United States. And that is a damn shame of the highest order. Our greed is killing us left by left, and no one is taking control of that. No one is taking control of the greed here in the United States. And it's hurting us. And we don't see it. So now people are up in arms about the tariff that Donald Trump has imposed upon the various nations. And these nations are the top nations in the manufacture of goods and services that we use. These nations that are being hit with these tariffs are the ones that are mass producing the things that we use here on a daily basis here in the United States. And I understand what Trump was trying to do. He wants to bring manufacturing back here to the United States. He wants all those foreign companies like Nike, Pumas. He wants all the steel and all these other various companies that have taken their products and services abroad, bring them back here in the United States. Let's get America back to being number one in producing products and service goods. That's what he wants. That's what made America great. See, people thinking about slavery, thinking people about the crack era. That is not what Trump thinking. And I wish certain media groups who don't like Trump stop pushing that narrative. I wish certain African Americans who don't like Trump stop pushing that narrative. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about trying to get America back to being the world leader in production of products and goods. That's what he means by make America good, make America great. It ain't talking about, throwing black people in jail. It ain't talking about bringing crack back. It ain't talking about hanging a bunch of African Americans left, right, and center. It ain't talking about making white people back in office. They're in office. They're controlling the country. That's not what he's trying to do. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about making us a leader in the world of producing products and goods for the world. In other words, put us back in a position where the world was coming to us for products and goods instead of us going to other countries for products and goods now. It's reversed. But in my humble opinion, what he's trying to do is 30 years too late. It's 30 years too late. We no longer have the infrastructure to be the world's leader in products and goods. Whoever did this stupid thing of shipping our goods and products overseas to be manufactured because of the cheaper labor, that's what hurt the United States. That is why we're in the boat that we're in now. That is the bad decision based on those who were in power at that time. That was piss poor leadership of the highest order. And that is why we're in the mess that we're in now, because people didn't have a vision. Those leaders who were in office, they only saw greed and they made piss poor decisions. We have proper leadership in various positions, and that's just why we're in the mess that we're in now. Because people vote left, right, and center, these various individuals who did not know what the hell they were doing. Who had an agendas. Agenda here, agenda there, agenda there. Everybody got a different agenda. And based on these agendas, these individuals got elected into office. So, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of piss poor decision making has put us in the position that we're in now today. It ain't just Donald Trump making all these bad decisions. It's Donald Trump trying to correct a bad decision too late. Donald Trump is trying to create or stop the gravy train, but it's too late. It ain't that he's stupid. It's not that he's dumb. I didn't vote for Donald Trump, but now I see what he was trying to do. I see the bigger picture of what he was trying to do. But unfortunately, it's a tad bit too late. What Donald Trump was trying to do with the tariff is a tad bit too late. When he was trying to make America great again, that's what he was talking about. He was talking about making America number one in producing products and services and goods. We was number one in creating steel. We was number one building products, electronics. We were the leaders in building products. But the unfortunate thing about our products is when you go to these foreign countries, people are not buying our products. Our products are not flying off the shelves, folks, even when we were the leader in products and services. They weren't flying off the shelf left, right, and center. Because what? These people were loyal to their own products being made. And then sometimes our products was out of reach for other people. They couldn't afford it. Only the elite could get it. Only the elite could get our products and services in some of these foreign countries. Now that some of these foreign countries have become economically stable, economically efficient, their own currency has some stability, some power behind it. Now they can do what they want. They can produce better products for themselves. They don't need us. If you look at most of the foreigners that's in this country, as far as Asians, Japanese, go look at the cars in their garage. Go look at the cars that are in their garages. I guarantee you won't see a bunch of Fords, Buicks, Chevrolets in the garages. Go take a look. Go open up some of these garages and see what's inside of them. So, some bad leadership decision was made prior to Trump getting in office. And he's trying to clean up something that's been going on wrong for too long, more than 30 years. And it's a tad bit too late. No one sees the vision that he's trying to bring us back to. No one sees what he's really trying to do. They just think he's stupid and don't know what he's talking about, doesn't know what he's doing. That's what the media wants you to think. The media wants you to think what he's doing is stupid, idiotic, doesn't make sense. It's crazy of the highest order. No, it's not stupid. It's not crazy. It's just a tad bit too late. What he's hoping to do, what he was trying to do, it's a tad bit too late. We no longer have the infrastructure to bring these products and services back. We no longer have the infrastructure to bring all these products back. It's a tad bit too late. It's a tad bit too late. I understand the direction and principles where he was trying to go, but it's too late. It's 30 years too late. That's why it won't work right now. It's sort of like good idea, but bad timing. Once again, good idea, but bad timing. It just won't work right now. Unfortunately, it won't. It will not work right now because the timing is bad. It won't work right now because the timing is bad. They waited too late. They waited too late to implement these tariffs. They waited too late to try to bring back the infrastructure that made us great again. They waited too late. So now everybody's up in arms. Every news broadcaster is calling him stupid, dumb. He needs to be impeached. He needs to be that. No, he doesn't need to be impeached. He just needs to find a better way of stopping the flood of foreign products into the country. In other words, too much of other people's products are coming in. And since we don't produce anything anymore, we don't have nothing going out. And that's our fault. That is our fault for allowing this to happen. That is piss poor leadership prior to Trump getting in office. The Bushes, the Clinton, the Reagans, the Obamas. Nobody was thinking about products and services. Nobody was thinking about products and goods. We're too busy focusing on war. We're too busy focusing on black and white issues. While we're here fighting about war, fighting about black and white issues, everybody else is just moving left, right, and center. Everybody else is getting their house in order. While we're sitting around here fighting everybody else's wars and battles, while we're here in our country with an infrastructure fighting one another with a black and white issue, while we're in this country killing one another left, right, and center, while we're in here fighting over things that should have been solved 60 years ago. The black and white issues that we've been having in this country should have been over with 60 years ago. We're fighting over stupidity of past. And we keep on going down that same path. So while we arguing and fighting amongst ourselves, the world just passing us by. Everybody just walking around us, and we in the dirt, fighting left, right, and center. And everybody just looking at us, walking around us like, look at them fools. Everyone else is moving left, right, and center, right past us, and we're still here, stuck. 2025, we're stuck on issues dating back from 1940 to 1950. We're still fighting issues from the 1950s. We're still stuck on stupidity and ignorance in our country. And that's why we can't move forward as a nation, because we're still fighting past. We're still living in the past. We're still trying to reach back to the past, and it's not helping us. We keep on trying to reach back to the past, and it is not helping us. And those that we have in leadership right now, they are the stupidity of the highest order. They are not helping us move forward in any kind of way. There needs to be a limit in Congress. There needs to be a limit in the Senate on how many terms you can be elected. Because we got too many old timers with no fresh ideas. We got too many old heads with no leadership of the highest order. They're not producing anything that is helping us move forward. Everybody else is moving past us left, right, and center, and we're still here fighting and arguing amongst ourselves. Stupidity of the highest order. We have piss poor leadership that is not moving us forward. It is time to change the leadership in our country, left, right, and center. It is time, over time, to change the leadership. And I ain't just talking about Trump. I'm talking about the Senate. I'm talking about the Congress. I'm talking about some of these governors. I'm talking about some of these mayors. It is time to change and get some fresh, new ideas to help run the country in the right way. Because we're still sitting in the sandbox fighting one another. We're still in the sandbox grabbing, saying, that's my toy. That's mine. We're still sitting in the sandbox, America. And the world's just walking right past us. We're still stuck in that sandbox like little kids fighting amongst ourselves over our little precious toys. And the world's just walking right past us. So if you're watching this video, if you have an opinion about this video, if you want to add your 2 cents to it, please. I would love to hear what you think we as a nation should be moving as. Because we're not moving as a nation. It's like every race has an agenda in this country. We as African Americans, we have our agenda. Caucasians got their agenda. We got Filipino Americans here. We got Chinese Americans here. We got Indonesians. We got Palestinians. We got all these different nationalities here, and everybody has an agenda, and we are not on one accord for anything. We are not on one accord for anything but stupidity of the highest order. And we need to make a change. And we need to make it. Donald Trump is not our problem. He's one of the problems, but he's not the main problem. He's not the main problem. He's not the main issue. We have other issues and concerns staring us right in our face, and we can't see it because we're too busy trying to hate another person. We have too many agendas being circulated within our country, saying what he's doing this and what he's doing that is wrong, and he should be out of office. Even if you took him out of office, then what? Okay, you removed Donald Trump out of office. Now, what shenanigans you gonna have now? You give all the workers back their jobs. Now what? You're still overspending. You give all these federal workers back their job. You're still overspending because they're not producing anything. I go to the VA 3 times a week. I see people standing around left, right, and center, ain't doing jack but running their damn mouth. I see people left, right, and center in the VA hospital 3 times a week. A group over here chatting, a group over there chatting, that group over there talking. People standing around with their hands in their pocket. I see it all the time. Long lines. People just sitting in their chair conversating. I don't see customer service being conducted. I don't see these patients being brought in and brought out. I see a bunch of people just standing around running their mouths. Wastefulness. Wastefulness of personnel, time, and management. We don't need all these people in there. Some of these people need to have 5-hour shifts. Okay, let's get them out of there and get them home. Waste of money, waste of personnel, waste of time. But we got to make a change. We got to start putting better leaders in office. and stop all these agendas. Because everybody seems to have an agenda. And that's what's hurting us here in our country. Too many agendas and not one accord. So please leave your comments, your opinions in the comment section. Thank you for watching another episode of Stop the Capping. I'm your host, Ahmad. I've been injured, I've been hurt, but now I'm back. So please tune in for more content. Please. Let's talk about these things. Let's have a dialogue. And let's get away from the black and white issues. Those issues should have been done 60 years ago. I'm going to be 60 myself soon, and we're still talking black and white. That's dead and should be done with. It's time to move forward, people, because the world is just walking past us, and we're still in that sandbox. We're still in that sandbox, pulling over the same toy. Let's make a change. Thank you for watching this edition of Stop the Cap. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Please leave your opinions in the opinion box. Be blessed. Goodbye.